Hey, welcome back, Rankers, back from Bali. Hey, thank you to everyone who said I looked really hot last week. Good to know I've still got it. I wanted to talk to you a little bit more today about the updates we're seeing this year, about the quality stuff, but more importantly, how you go about doing it. So, for instance, we know that by removing phrases or keywords essentially from certain posts or pages, they seem to be ranking higher. And we think this is because of it's an easier read, it's better language, it doesn't look as spammy, a whole range of things. So one of the sites I was working on was Dr. Bill Sakula, not a client, I was just curious because he was hit by it quite significantly. So he went and did the same thing and removed a whole bunch of keywords from a particular page for It Works. And this is the search, one of the searches that he had dropped for. And after we made those initial changes a few weeks ago, you saw he came back to 3s and 4s. And since he's removed those keywords, he's come back up to number 1 for that phrase. But he still is not ranking very well at all for the short tail phrase. And certainly he's not getting that international traffic back, especially on the short tail phrases. But there is something that I did notice whilst doing these changes, and that is beware of the transition rank. Now, I touched on this last week on a post written in 2012 by Bill Slawski, where he looked at a thing called transition rank. And the idea is that Google messes with people doing changes specifically for SEO reasons, in that you might make a change and you don't get the result that you were expecting. And so you go and reverse that change. And what sometimes, and this is the content of the patent might be happening, is that Google's saying, well, we're going to hold off on actually giving you the real rank of that page for a little while, and then we'll give you the real rank. So we have this thing called transition rank. So quite often we'll say to a client, look, we'll make some changes, but before your rankings go up, they will often go down. And we've seen this over time and time again. And part of the reason I've thought of that over the years has been because, well, maybe the bot has to then, recrawl every page. If it's only picked up the page with the changes, maybe it drops because you don't know, it doesn't understand the relationship with other pages now and those sorts of things. But it could just very well be this thing called transition rank. Now, Google said a few years back that even though they have a patent, doesn't necessarily mean it's in the algorithm. But what I can tell you is that when you make a change, wait. And depending on the level of competitiveness for that key phrase, you may see it drop initially, but just wait, hold firm, and then check again in a couple of days. And that's certainly been the case with this particular phrase, in that Bill made those changes on the 23rd of March, and I've been checking it intermittently. And if I have a look and try to see where it came back, or in Australia for that phrase, I'll just bring this. You can see here, it's only really come back here. So Google's saying here it was on the 29th of March, it was around number 5, and then since then it's gone up to number 1. And the data that we have. So it didn't go up until number 1, but the changes were made back on the 23rd of March. So where's the 23rd here? I hate Google's backwards numbering. Here we go, 23rd. There we go. There we go. There's the 23rd. It dropped through the floor when he made the changes. That's the transition rank right there. And I can't see it being anything else. Then it was left for about a week, and boom, up it comes. So whether you want to call it transition rank, whether you want to call it something else, whether you want to call it Google pondering, when you are making all these changes, if it's a significant change to the page, wait. And that's the mistake I made last week with one of our pages. I didn't wait. I thought, oh, going up, going up, going up, going up. Yeah, let's make another one. Boom, out of the top 500, we fell. For that particular page. It's since come back, or for that particular phrase, and it's since come back to about, I think it's about 25 at the moment, and I'm just going to leave it. I don't care. I'm just going to leave it. It doesn't generate a lot of traffic for us. I'm just going to leave it for a little bit longer. I probably won't even touch it, and we're moving domains, we're moving sites, I'm doing all sorts of things. So I'm not even going to worry about it because I just want to see what happens, and quite frankly, I'm too scared to touch it. So when you are making these changes, just be aware that quite often, if the phrase is quite competitive, you may drop before you go up. And it's important to wait. Hopefully that's helpful, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.